Hi, bakers, and welcome back. I'm thrilled that you're going to begin the baker journey for Community Loaves, where we bake from our home kitchens and you get a chance to donate to our partnered food banks. There are choices that you're going to have in participating with Community Loaves. You can be a bread baker, you can be a cookie baker, you can be both. And the recipes and the time that the recipes take can be factors in what you choose. So this video's purpose is to give you a tour of those baked items and the qualities about them so that you can make a choice that works for you. Let's get started. In these next few slides, we're going to share with you the details on what it is that we donate to our food bank partners. We do have choices that you can make. Those choices, there's no right or wrong choice. You will make those based on your own baking skills, your interest, the time that you might have to donate. So we'll talk about how you'll choose the right one for you. And we'll take a moment to review the baking and donation process. To begin, what is it that we donate to our food bank partners? Specifically, Community Loaves is about donating freshly baked whole grain items that are delicious and provide excellent nutrition. Why do we donate those? Because that's what our food banks need. They rarely, if ever, receive freshly baked items and rarely whole grain items. All of the items that we donate are baked using a standard recipe. So with multiple recipes, we're going to talk about that. But one of the lovely things about having standard recipes is that over time, our food banks have come to depend and rely on the beautiful items that you donate, and they know and feel comfortable with the experience that they're going to have. Their clients as well. Clients line up for Community Loaves bread and our energy cookies. They know that we donate twice a month, and they come and show up on those donation days in order to snap up your beautifully baked items. We are able to do this because the Department of Health says that baked goods that do not require refrigeration are safe to be donated from our home kitchens. So we lean into that. We bake from standard recipes. We donate these items in signature packaging that's always the same, so the clients know that's a Community Loaves item. And we are always leaning into organic whenever possible and whole grain flours and ingredients. We do have multiple recipes now for our volunteers to choose from our bakers to choose from. We have 3 different bread formulas: a sunflower rye, a satisfying whole wheat, and our original, to me, our honey oat loaf. If you're just starting out with Community Loaves, I highly recommend that for ease and time savings that you begin with our satisfying whole wheat loaf. If you prefer to be a cookie baker with us, our energy cookie is fantastic, and we have 2 formulas or 2 recipes for you to choose from. They're the same, really, except for the inclusions. So one's a blueberry pecan and one is a chocolate cherry. Our food banks need more of everything that we donate, so you can rest assured that anytime you bake, it will not go to waste, and you should feel comfortable baking that which makes your heart sing, that which is comfortable for you. I want to talk a little bit about our bread recipes first, and then we'll spend a little time on the energy cookie. Our bread is a sandwich loaf. Why a sandwich loaf? Well, 1, food banks just don't get enough sandwich loaves. 2, it's easy for us to have a standard of a sandwich loaf and bake these in a 9x5 pan. And finally, A sandwich loaf is already familiar. It's approachable. It doesn't require an instruction manual like these rustic breads can sometimes puzzle us as to how to dive into something like that. The loaves all across the board, regardless of the formula, they taste great. They're made with whole grains and high extraction flour. We value highly supporting the local grain economy, and wherever you are, we hope that you'll be able to support your local mills, and especially if you're buying flour through community loaves. We'll talk about that in a moment. If you want to use your natural ferment, your sourdough, one of our formulas allows for that. Actually, a couple of our formulas allow for that. So rest assured, you can use regular yeast. You can use a combination of yeast and a natural ferment, and you can even use just a straight natural ferment. We consider ourselves an equal leavening opportunity organization. We have oatmeal in most of our recipes. That gives extra fiber and flavor and a softness of crumb. And then our sunflower rye has sunflower seeds in it, and often there's honey and olive oil in the loaves. Talk a little bit about flour. Flour is super important to us as bakers, as home bakers, as professional bakers. Flour in a chocolate chip cookie is not that important. It's a carrier to all those delicious flavors of chocolate and sugar and butter. But in bread, flour plays the star role. It gives flavor, it gives performance, and it provides nutrition. And this is a breaducation moment. It allows you to see that all flour is not the same. So whole grain flour, which means 100% of that wheat berry is in the bag. When milled, and 100% whole grain flour means that nothing has been sifted off. Every bit of nutrition that whole grain wheat berry had to offer made it into the bag. And whole grain flour is nutritious, 12% fiber, a lot of micronutrients that keep our gut happy, and if our gut's happy, our head's happy, that whole 9 yards. All-purpose bread flour is heavily sifted, and typically it represents like 50% of the wheat berry. So half of the wheat berry has gone away with bread flour. That doesn't mean it's not organic. It doesn't mean that it's bad flour. It just means that most of the nutrition has been sifted off. With 50% of the wheat berry gone, you only retain 25% of the fiber and a fraction of the micronutrients. So we want to lean into as whole grain flour as possible. And some of you have the ability to get high extraction flour. High extraction flour means a high percent of the wheat berry is in the bag. A high percent means a high percent of the nutrition is also in the bag. We love that. So some of our recipes use 100% whole grain, whole wheat. Some of our recipes use whole grain and high extraction flour. And maybe in some cases, our recipes use majority of whole grain with just a titch of all-purpose bread flour for that performance piece, just to make sure that we get a nice lofty loaf. So you'll read through that, but it's good to know. You'll read through those recipes, but isn't it good to know or see how much nutrition can be found in our whole grain loaves? Now I want to talk about our energy cookie. Our Breader Together energy cookie began as a collaboration with the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs in Denver. Now I want to take a moment and talk about our Breader Together energy cookie. Our energy cookie came about out of the need for an alternative item at our food banks that they weren't getting, something that was portable nutrition, suitable for no-cook sections of the food bank that supports their unhoused clients, and also something that would work for their school backpack programs. We developed this energy cookie in collaboration with the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. The director of the sports and nutrition program there, Nana Meyer, and a graduate student and myself, we created this base that we use for our energy cookie. The energy cookie is 85 grams of whole grain goodness. We have those two flavor profiles that I already shared with you, chocolate cherry and blueberry. It's real nutrition. So this looks like a cookie. It's cookie in format, but really it's like a granola bar in terms of its nutrition. It's 260 calories. It's 60% of your daily whole grain allotment. There's 5 grams of fiber, 6 grams of fat, or 7 grams of fat, and 6 grams of protein. And it's 100% whole grain. When it comes time to make this cookie, you are going to find that it's as simple as throwing everything into a bowl, stir, let it sit overnight so that all those whole grains can hydrate, soak up all the moisture. It's going to begin with a cookie base. We make that in our warehouse here in Kirkland, and we ship it out to you or deliver it depending on where you live in the Community Loaves family. The cookie base contains 6 whole grain ingredients: a whole wheat pastry flour, oat flour, oatmeal, almond meal, chickpea flour, and rye flour. Okay, so all those items are in this mix that you will pre-order. And like a pancake mix, you'll dump that into a bowl, and to that you'll add your ingredients from home. You also want a number 16 blue handled scoop so that you can easily measure out the 85 grams for the cookie. So super easy. It's a great place to start if you are not comfortable yet with baking bread. Now, what recipe and what product do you want to donate to the food bank? You have these choices: bread or energy cookies. And the choice is based on what your resources are in terms of both time and maybe even financial. The easiest bread formula of the three, and recognize that if you're a bread baker, none of them are hard. But the easiest and the most time efficient one is our satisfying whole wheat loaf. This launched in the spring of 2025. It takes 4 hours start to finish, and it's a same day loaf. So if I wanted to, I could go into the kitchen, I could get it started right now, and it would be done 4 hours from now. It's great if you're a beginner baker. You can make the number of loaves that serve you. You can make 2 loaves, 3 loaves, 4 loaves. Often there's a limiting factor, like how big your mixer is or how many pans you have. These loaves of bread are baked in a 9x5 pan. If you have 2 ovens, that can be helpful. If you have a larger mixer, that can be helpful. If you're super strong because you can mix by hand, no worries, that can be helpful. You choose the formula recipe for bread that makes sense to you. So the easiest is a satisfying whole wheat loaf, and it is also the most time efficient. The value of the cost of the ingredients, I should say, that goes into that loaf is about $3, and that includes the packaging. All the loaves are about the same, about $3. So if you bake 4 loaves and donate 3 of those 4 loaves, you will get a donation credit of 3 loaves, $9. So if you donate all all 4 loaves, you'll get a donation value credit of $12. And I'm going to show you later in a future video how this all comes together. So, but there is a cost to these ingredients, and we respect and understand that. We track both your time. So if you're going to give time as a student for community service, or you want to log your time with your company so that you can give this nonprofit some matching dollars, which would be lovely. These donations that you make all have a time value and a donation value towards that you can use for those kinds of things. Now, what about the cookie? Well, the cookie is the most time efficient. It takes 3 hours to do a batch of cookies. You mix it the night before, you bake the next day, or 2-3 days later if you don't have time to get back to it. Each cookie is about 88 cents of donation cost. So the batch is 32. How many you donate could be all 32, or you might donate only 25. In my case, I have some in the freezer because I like to run, I like to hike, I don't always eat breakfast, and they provide a really lovely, healthy snack. But whatever it is that you do donate gets credited to you as a donation, a financial donation of 88 cents. And of course, then there's the time donation as well. You're going to be curious about the supplies and how you get these supplies. And so let me just begin with that our nonprofit is almost entirely run by volunteer power, right? I'm 100% volunteer to this organization. We have a website. We do have a few people that are helping us to continue to grow and sustain this effort. And those are real costs to the organization. And in part, those costs are supported or paid for by the supplies that you purchase, the packaging, the energy cookie mix, in some cases, the flour for our Puget Sound corridor. There are many flours that people can buy. But if you are in California, Idaho, other parts of the country, you won't purchase flour through us. We don't ship that, but we will ship the energy cookie mix to support you in that way. So supplies are available depending on your location, and I'm going to show you more about that in the next round of video. So the baking and donating process at a high level looks like this. You're going to choose your recipe. That's going to be on the website and in the next video. You're going to order the supplies that you need. That's also in the next video. We want you to bake whenever it suits your schedule. We didn't talk about this, but you can be an any day of the week baker because our items freeze beautifully. So you can bake a la minute and then take them to your hub, or just before or on donation Sunday, or you can bake on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, and pop them in the freezer all packaged up because they freeze beautifully, and then take them to your hub frozen. Okay. We have 2 donations a month. I think this is in the precursor video, but not necessarily in this video. So the baking donating process looks like this. We donate twice a month, okay? 2 times a month. You get to choose the recipe from the website. You will have an account. We cover that in the next video. Choose the recipe. You're going to order your supplies. Bake when it suits you, knowing that these items all freeze beautifully. So we want them to be donated fresh or fresh frozen, okay? Meaning you could bake on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday. Bake, package, and put them in your freezer, and then take them out on the donation Sunday, and they will thaw on their way to the hub. and then on to the food bank. Hopefully that helps you. I've baked many loaves in advance for when I travel, because I try to lead by example. So my freezer is currently full. In the next round of videos, we're going to take the time to pull this whole thing together and show you how to create your volunteer profile, and how you'll be able to download those recipes. Let's get started.